right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, this photo of Ramon just 2 days out from taking the stage. Obviously, we also had the press conference today. We're going to talk about that as well, and then there's some big news surrounding Brandon Curry that we're going to talk about too. So the first story being this Ramon update. This is an interesting one because this was posted by most of the Brazil bodybuilding media pages first. And on those pages, they said that this picture, it was leaked, and Ramon wasn't happy about it. And this is the only update that we've seen from Ramon, basically this entire prep, and it was just a couple days out. So, front double bicep pose, and again, the Brazilian media that's reposting this is saying this is something that was leaked by someone in Ramon's camp, and Ramon didn't want it to come out, which I thought was interesting. Specifically, the fact that he didn't want it to come out, because I think when you look at this photo, it's kind of a weird angle. It's not very flattering, whether it's the lighting, whether it's the pose. It's not super flattering to his lower body. And granted, this is all we have to go on. It's just one picture. You don't get to see his legs or his physique at all in any other light or angle or pose. So it's kind of hard to make a total judgment call just off this one picture. But a lot of people were pointing out the legs. A lot of people were saying he looks flat here. Obviously, he still has time to fill out. But I thought the fact that these pages were saying that Ramon was upset by this photo coming out was interesting, because if it were a photo where he looked fantastic and everybody was talking about how he's going to win the Olympia and he was a world beater and, you know, Chris Bumstead should be scared type of thing, I wouldn't think he'd be upset about that type of photo getting leaked if he looked great in the photo. So the fact that he is upset, it could just mean his feelings are hurt because it's leaked, but it also could mean that he doesn't like the photo. He doesn't think it's a good photo of him, and he doesn't think he looks good in the picture. And frankly, my first reaction to this picture was pretty much the same as a lot of people are saying. The first thing I noticed was the lower body. Like I said, it could be the angle, it could be the picture, it could be the lighting, it could be the pose. But to me, his lower body, it looked like it was lacking. But again, all we have is just this one picture. And Ramon said at the press conference, it's not a strategy, actually, the fact that he's not posting pictures. He was asked a question about why he's not, and he just gave kind of the usual answer. It doesn't matter what's in the pictures. All that matters is what we show on stage, etc. But he said it wasn't a part of his strategy not to post. He just didn't think it was important. So I thought that was interesting as well, because, I mean, clearly the fans noticed that Ramon wasn't posting anything for this prep. So I thought it was interesting for him to say it wasn't part of his strategy not to post. He just didn't think it was important, which I find to be kind of an interesting statement. And I will be posting a full classic physique prediction video, but I still stand by, I think that Chris is going to win, and I think he's just on another level, whether it's Ramon, whether it's whether it's Breon, Terrence. And Terrence wasn't on the press conference stage. I just realized that. I guess because he fell out of that top 3 last year, so maybe they pushed him out of it. That's kind of, I just realized that he wasn't in it. They just had Chris, Breon, and Ramon at the press conference. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about how Ramon looks in this picture. Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing? Why do you think he was upset about it getting leaked? And where do you think he's going to place at the Olympia this year? Now, next up in the news, let's talk about this Brandon Curry thing. So, overall, the press conference wasn't really that exciting. It certainly wasn't as exciting as last year. Nobody posed. There was no shirts coming off. There wasn't any trash talk, especially in men's open bodybuilding. But I think one of the most interesting points of the press conference was right at the beginning when Bob said, clearly there's someone missing here. First he talked about Nick, but then he talked about Brandon, and he said that Brandon wasn't able to make it because he had a health issue. And then shortly after that, Bob also added that he thinks Brandon is not going to be able to compete in the Olympia either. So I first heard about this last night. So last night was the athlete check-in meeting where you get assigned your number and you sit down and they go over like the schedule for the weekend. And that's a mandatory meeting. It's non-negotiable. There's no other meeting. There's no follow-up meeting. You have to, that's basically the one thing that everybody has to go to on that day at that time to check in and say, look, I'm here, and sign up. Sign in, essentially. And I heard last night that Brandon was missing from that athlete check-in meeting. He did not get assigned his number. You guys can look at the group pictures. Brandon is clearly missing from all the photos of the entire group. So he didn't make the check-in meeting. Now, granted, even though this is a mandatory thing, like this is the thing that no one's allowed to skip, nobody is above it, Brandon is a former Mr. Olympia. So if he were just sick last night, which we don't know for sure, I would think for a guy like Brandon, who's a former Mr. Olympia qualified for life, they would make an exception to the rule if he still wanted to compete just because he missed the meeting. They probably wouldn't disqualify him, even though I think that technically is how it's supposed to work. Because like for classic physique, it's non-negotiable because at their meeting, that's where they take the height and weight, and you only have until the end of that weigh-in to make weight. So these meetings, these weigh-ins, these check-ins, they're very important. So Brandon missed that last night. Now, what I heard, and there's a couple different rumors going around, and I think it's important to point out that we have not gotten a statement from Brandon directly yet. We just heard this from Bob. I've heard some of these things from other people, but I keep hearing that he's sick, and it's not like a serious like health scare. It's more, what I heard was food poisoning, but I also heard he was coughing up blood, and both of those seem to be rumors. But I heard he was in the ER because he suddenly came down with some kind of illness at the last minute. And like I said, still rumors, but from what I've heard, it wasn't like a serious medical like emergency. Non-life-threatening, I should say. That's what I've heard. So I hope that at least that part is true. I think that's the most important thing. Forget whether he competes or not. I think the most important thing is he's going to be okay. I think that should be the thing that people are focused the most on. So obviously after press conference, a lot of people started posting that Brandon is out of the Olympia and not competing. And then some people were posting that they spoke to Brandon or they spoke to his wife. And apparently Brandon's wife said Brandon is feeling better and he's recovering and is still planning on competing in the Olympia. He just missed the meeting in the press conference because he was just recovering from from the food poisoning is what people are saying. So to answer the question, I don't know if Brandon is competing or not. It certainly looks like he's not going to, but now people are saying, like I said, that his wife is saying he's planning on competing. So I can't officially say he's out, but it certainly would seem if he was sick enough to miss the mandatory athletes check-in, the meeting, and also miss the press conference, that if we're being realistic, there's probably a good chance that whatever he's dealing with, if it is food poisoning, it might be bad enough that he can't compete if he can't go to the prejudge or the press conference or the check-in. And look, honestly, it would be horrible if he can't compete. Clearly, I mean, we lost Nick Walker at the last minute. If we lost Brandon Curry at 2 days out, and by lost, I just mean out of the lineup. But I mean, if Brandon doesn't compete either, that's half your top six from last year. That's not going to be there this year. That's 3, 4, and 5. Nick Walker, Brandon Curry, Big Ramy, all out this year if Brandon can't compete. And that's a big hit to that first call-out. And likely, those three guys that they had on the press conference stage, Sampson, Derek, and Hadi, more than likely, that's going to be your top three. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Brandon Curry is going to be in, or do you think he's going to be out? Right now, again, it's unconfirmed that he's going to be not competing. So let's talk about the press conference a little bit. First of all, I thought the most exciting thing of the day was the check-ins for Classic Physique. You get this cool little moment where they're all taking a group picture, and you get this moment where Chris puts Ramon in a headlock. You get to see a little bit of a playful banter between the two. Ramon is kind of showboating in the front, hitting a front double bicep. He does like the little neck motion thing, like it's game over. Chris grabs him, puts him in a headlock. I thought it was cool. You typically don't get to see stuff like that. And that was about the most action that we got to see all day today. So the press conference, honestly, was pretty uneventful. They only had 3 men's open guys, like I just told you, Sampson, Derek, and Hadi. For 212, they only had Sean Clarita and Keon Pearson. And for Classic Physique, they had Ramon, Breon, and Chris. No Terrence. So unlike last year, we didn't get to see anybody pose. Nobody took their shirt off. There wasn't really any drama. Obviously, Derek and Sampson are like 2 of the nicest guys in open bodybuilding. And then Hadi with the language barrier. There wasn't really any trash talking. There wasn't really any banter. There wasn't really any exciting moments like that. And really, honestly, I think they should do it kind of like they do a fight, pre-fight press conference. They start with like the undercard, they work their way up, and then the main event has their own like table at the very end. Like they switch the people out. I think that's what they should do here, and they should they should end with men's open bodybuilding since that's the main event. But then they could have a bigger panel of men's open guys and direct the question specifically at them versus how they do it here where they've got like a couple people from every division scattered all over the stage. And then the line of questioning is like all over the place. They had a panel in the front row asking questions, But it's like they'll ask Hadi a question, then someone different will go straight into a question for the bikini Miss Olympia. And they like jump all over the place with the different divisions and different questions. And I think that it's just kind of a confusing way to do the press conference. I think they should do one division at a time, have like a table of the top 10, just or maybe even the top 6. Just 6 guys sitting at a table. You have a direct line of questioning for that division. When that line of questioning is over, bring out another division, then have a specific line of questioning for them. And I feel like it would be a much more streamlined press conference approach than what they're doing with just like a couple athletes from each division scattered all over the stage and the questions really having no direction to them. I mean, I liked the press conferences like 20 years ago when there weren't so many divisions, and they just had every open bodybuilder competing in the Olympia on the same stage for the press conference, and they asked everybody questions. It was just kind of weird not having the top 3. So if you didn't watch it, you didn't really miss a whole lot with the press conference. But that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.